we want to make sure that every American knows that this is not a serious investigation. This is a partisan political witch hunt where Pelosi has only appointed her political allies to attack Donald Trump, to attack his voters and supporters, and to attack Republican members of Congress who have real questions when it comes to election integrity. And those are valid questions. Let me be clear, Lindsay. Republicans condemned the violence on January 6th, just like we condemned the violence throughout the entire summer of 2020 with riots and destruction across the country targeted at federal buildings. The Democrats did not condemn that violence. Instead, they continue to obsess over this January 6th witch hunt. What also is important is this committee is illegitimate. It's illegitimate because for the first time in the history of Congress, Nancy Pelosi shred 232 years of precedent by not allowing the minority party, the Republicans, to appoint members of Congress. That's important because, like we saw during the impeachment Part 1, which was conducted in the basement bunker under Adam Schiff's leadership, there was still Republicans in that room. We were able to cross-examine the witnesses. We were able to look at all of the evidence. That's not what is happening here today. The other thing that is very shameless is most committee hearings start at 10 a.m. and are throughout the workday during working hours. There is a reason why Democrats and their allies in the media are shamelessly putting this on during prime time. It's because they're desperately trying to shift the narrative of the fact that their policies are failing when it comes to issues that actually matter. When I talk to voters and my constituents, issues like inflation, the border crisis, the baby formula shortage, the list goes on of issues they don't want to talk about. Wouldn't it be really wonderful if the Democrats focused on those issues instead? But they're failing to do so and instead engaging in this partisan witch hunt.
So let me ask you this, because Democrats are saying that Republicans actually don't want to get to the bottom of what happened on January 6th because it was Republicans out there that were rioting. Is that true?
Absolutely not. We want to follow the facts. And Leader McCarthy appointed Republican members to that committee. It was Nancy Pelosi who removed and failed to seat two of those appointees. We appointed those members because we wanted to follow the facts wherever they may lead. And in fact, our members are still conducting our own investigation. We're asking important questions such as, why were the U.S. Capitol Police so ill-prepared that day? Why won't Nancy Pelosi's office provide the documentation and communication with both the U.S. Capitol Police and the Sergeant at Arms leading up to January 6th? Why was the Capitol Police at half staff that day? That was a decision made by the Speaker of the House and absolutely, unquestionably, the wrong decision. We want to get the answers to those questions. And most importantly, we want to make sure that the violence and destruction that occurred in the United States Capitol never happens again. There have been bipartisan investigations, lots of recommendations about changes that need to be made, and Nancy Pelosi and House Democrats have failed to act on all of those recommendations. So this is not about securing the Capitol. This is about politicizing and targeting their political opponents.
So Republicans will likely take back the majority in November. If that is the case, is there a plan to continue this committee in a way that is bipartisan?
Well, certainly, I want to note for the record that Republicans put on the House floor, which every Democrat voted against, a bipartisan commission. Every single Democrat voted against that. Republicans supported that. And it was only Nancy Pelosi, again, who shred any precedent to have a very partisan, targeted investigation that wasn't focused on the truth that we oppose. When it comes to the next Congress, that's a decision that the House Republicans are going to make. Certainly, I will tell you what we're focused on are the issues that actually matter to the American people. I wasn't asked a single question by my constituents over the past 2 weeks when I was in my district during our district work period, but we are committed to focusing on inflation, as I said, the energy crisis, the crime crisis across this country. That's what we want to focus on.
And that's what the American people are focused on right now. I do want to ask you this. This commission says that they have information that no one has seen before that is compelling. Is there anything that you could see tonight that would sway you, that Republicans would consider in their investigations into what went wrong that day?
Well, first of all, we've seen that they have doctored evidence. I anticipate we will see more of that. We saw that in some of the evidence that they've put out from their committee in terms of doctored text messages taken out of context, not provided with the complete content of those text messages. They did that to Jim Jordan's text message, and we called them out on it. We are going to continue to call them out on it. I anticipate that it will be, again, excerpts and doctored. That's why they hired an ABC News producer who covered up for Jeff Epstein to produce these primetime this primetime political circus. In terms of what we're focused on, again, we have an independent group of members who are focused on an investigation. We intend to put out a report in the coming weeks on where we think the security must be improved in the United States Capitol. And we're also going to put out the fact that Speaker Pelosi's office, the Democrats said that was the only office that's off limits from this investigation.
Makes you wonder. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, thank you for your time this evening. We'll have to have you back when you come out with that security report, and we'll be watching tonight.
Thank you.